No matter how much success, how many millions you are seeking, it is all based on your nervous system's capacity to receive. Most people are working hard and chasing success from a place of dysregulated nervous system. And a dysregulated nervous system will not create exponential growth by pushing harder, by trying harder, by working harder. It will not regulate itself by using force. The nervous system requires completely something different. And that's what I'm going to share with you in this video, that your nervous system is blocking millions and you don't even know that. And this is why people who are high achievers, highly ambitious, people who are seeking quantum leap, quantum success, where they are operating from the highest of the highest level, but they cannot get there by forcing, by pushing. And that's what we've conditioned with. Most of humanity is conditioned with chase, hustle, trying harder, pushing harder, working harder, but it does not work because their nervous system is not recalibrated for that level of money, that level of success, that level of wealth. And that's why I want to talk to you about how to really move into that state of being that creates millions with ease without pushing. So the first thing you need to understand about nervous system, it is conditioned based on your past environment. It has been conditioned based on what your experiences have been. So someone who's gone through challenging childhood where they've experienced a lot of emotional inconsistencies, they felt threatened by their environment on some level as a child, then their nervous system is contracted because it does not feel safe. So their nervous system gets programmed living in contraction. And contraction is something that most people move with. And they even try to make their life difficult because they are so used to contraction. Have you heard some people saying, the more stress I have, the better I perform? The reason they perform better with stress because their nervous system is recalibrated to dysregulation, to contraction, where they operate from that level where they have to be in stress, in extreme stress in order to perform. And that is a lose-lose situation because even though for a moment or for a day or a few weeks, they can perform from that level, but it takes you down to the deepest of the lowest level of burnout and health issues and all the challenges that you have to stop, and then you have to take a break and then you have to restart. And that's what's happening with most people. They work super hard and then they get sick, and then they work super hard, then they get sick, and they are constantly in this loop of burning out and working hard, burning out, working hard, and that is never ending. And that's why in order to experience the next level of wealth, income, and success, you must recalibrate your nervous system to really allow money to feel safe. Because money does not feel safe in a nervous system that operates in dysregulation, in contraction. So how I want you to notice contraction is every time you pay your bills, every time you think about somebody who hurt you, caused you pain, your body naturally gets into contraction. Your nervous system naturally move into contraction. When we are going to work, for example, and if the work is toxic, somebody at work that is not very nice, then our body naturally start getting into contraction to create safety and build us to fight. And that's why nervous system goes into fight, flight, or freeze, where some people fight They prepare their body before they go work or before they meet somebody who is highly judgmental or who is unkind, business partner or investor, where they have to present something and they know that person maybe do not like them. Then they prepare themselves from their nervous system unconsciously to go for that fight or flight or freeze mode. That's how most people live in their life, whether in their family relationships or in their work environment, in their business environment, where they are operating from contraction. The other side of contraction is expansion. Expansion is a state of being that allows money to flow in easily and effortlessly. Money can flow easily and effortlessly when you are operating from expansion. Expansion state is the state which is calm, which feels safe, that regardless of what is happening in my external reality, I am in expansion because I am moving with faith. And when we move with faith, we allow ourselves to be more expanded in our energy, in our nervous system. Living from expansion doesn't mean that you don't have challenges. The living from expansion is even if you have challenges. Instead of contracting, living expanded. Because in order to create millions and move into that energy of millions, you must remain in expansion regardless of the difficulties. So thinking about how, even if there's money going down in my bank account, how can I remain in expansion? How can I keep myself in that expansion, that with that trust and faith, more money is coming in? And what that requires higher level of vision and higher level of belief that more money is coming in. That's how you remain in expansion. You move from that faith and trust that more is available, more is flowing through. And that's how you move through those difficult moments where things are going wrong. And this is also part of quantum leaping process. If you are somebody who wants to quantum leap in your life, you will experience the downfall. You will experience the dip in your life. You will feel that collapse where everything is going wrong. Because when we create a desire that I want a bigger life, I want an impact, I want millions of dollars, I want freedom, I want unconditional love, I want to do meaningful work in a really bigger way, we are now recalibrating to the energy and we are asking the universe that this is our desire. And universe always responds with yes, that whatever you are recalibrating, it is a yes. So when you are recalibrating to that desire, everything in your life that is misaligned with that big desire will collapse. So if you operate from doubt, if you operate from fear, all of that needs to collapse. If you have limiting beliefs, that needs to collapse. If you have some sort of hidden insecurities, that needs to be released. And that's why you would be pushed to your limits in order to release all of those things, so that you can recalibrate to that energy of your biggest desire that will create biggest success. And that's why the collapse happened before the quantum leap. So when the collapse is happening in your life, instead of shutting down, instead of contracting, you remain open for the collapse. You remain expanded in collapse with trust that this is the step to quantum leap. So this is why it is important, when we have bigger vision, we must create a capacity to hold the bigger vision. And the bigger vision requires a higher version of you. And higher version of you is free of doubt, fear, insecurities, limiting beliefs, and it has more courage, it has more certainty. It moves from faith, it moves from conviction. And those are the things that require to build foundation in your energetic field to create capacity to hold more. I hope this is making clear that why we must go down in order to rise higher, why we must collapse in order to leap, because that is part of nature. When we command something bigger, we must release anything that is in the way. And most people, what they do, they command a bigger dream. But when things get difficult, when challenges come through, they start operating in fear. They're like, oh my God, my life is going downhill. I cannot do anything. I cannot have what I desire. God is not listening to me. My prayers are not being answered. But actually, their prayer is being answered because they have been pushed to see the things that are in the way of their quantum leap. And until they resolve those things that are in the way of their quantum leap, they will stay stuck because they are not willing to face themselves. They are avoiding their own growth. And that's where they operate from contraction. They operate from this freeze mode, or they go into that state there that they have to give up on their dreams. And all of that is them choosing not to see the truth that why things haven't shifted. And this is why we must remain in expansion regardless of the circumstances, regardless of what is going on. And expansion feels like that I see things are not going right, but I have bigger belief that it is going to shift. I have bigger faith. I know, and that is the inner knowing. This is why the deeper work is required to recalibrate your nervous system, to heal any insecurity, doubts, and fear, to release any barriers and invisible blocks that are keeping you stuck. And when you do that, you are automatically shifting yourself on a higher level energetically, and you are creating more expansion when you release all these fears, all these doubts, when you move from that higher place. That's what I do with my clients in my programs, and we work together to recalibrate their energy on a highest level so that they experience multi-millions, they experience bigger goals coming through easily and effortlessly, and that's what we do. By the way, I am doing a quantum expansion event on 22nd of May. If you are looking to manifest the impossible, to move into that frequency that creates higher level of wealth and abundance, then I am doing that masterclass quantum expansion where I will share 3 steps to move into expansion, to move into energy and frequency that manifest the impossible. If you are interested, click the link below to register for that event. It is happening on 22nd of May, and I will see you there. So, the nervous system, when we operate from fight, flight, or freeze, we don't feel safe to receive. So even though consciously you may want millions of dollars, but subconsciously your body is not ready to receive. Your nervous system is not ready to receive. And the way the nervous system start letting it go, when you start honoring yourself, honoring your peace, honoring rest, honoring what your body is saying to you. Because your nervous system needs to know that you are listening, you are paying attention, you are actually recalibrating to how your body feel, and you are not pushing. Because the more you will push, the more it will get into contraction, more it will shut down. And that's where people collapse and people have a huge health issues because they could keep moving from that push energy. So this is why it is so important that you recognize that your nervous system requires safety. It requires for you to let go. It requires you to surrender. When it tells you that it's too much, you stop and you rest and you let it go. And this is how I built my business, which is successful, because I don't push myself. I energetically recalibrate to my desire. So I don't have to do 20 things. I recalibrate to the higher energy and the right people show up. because I listen to my energy, my intuition, my body, my nervous system, and I move from that place. And when I move from that place, my nervous system is calmer. I am in a relaxed state of being, and that attracts the right energies, right people, right opportunities. And that's how I safely created this business that feels safe to my body, that feels safe to my nervous system. And as I am recalibrating to a higher level, to the higher level, it will become used to that new level of being. And this is why it is important to teach your nervous system expansion rather than contraction. The contraction is coming from fear. It's coming from past limiting beliefs. It is coming from invisible barriers that are capping your income, capping the money that you deeply desire. And when you release those caps energetically, emotionally, on a cellular level, completely release it, your nervous system start recalibrating to the higher level of expansion, higher level of money, higher level of success. And that's how you keep expanding. So that's why quantum leap is possible only when you are in expansion. Quantum leap is not possible in contraction, when your nervous system is in a state of contraction. So this is the main thing around nervous system contraction versus expansion. The more expansion you have, more you will be able to collapse time, you bend reality, quantum leap. More you operate from contraction, more you are creating limitation, more you are going into survival mode, more you are operating from fear. So we want to teach ourselves, our body, to move from expansion. So the real question is, are you willing to move into expansion regardless of what is going on? If you want 10 years of success, if you want to collapse time where you're collapsing 10 years into 1 year, are you willing to handle 10 years of challenge in 1 year? That's the idea you want to really get okay with. And if you're not okay with, your nervous system is in contraction. And that's how we recalibrate to the higher energy. If we are okay with 10 years of success in 1 year, then we must be okay with 10 years of challenges in 1 year. And if you're okay with both, you are in expansion. But if you're not okay with 10 years of challenge in 1 year, then you are in contraction. That's how you test. When you become okay with that, because what we have to know, every high will create a contrast. Contrasting experience is part of a universal law. That is the law of rhythm, that every good will create the bad, every light will create the darkness. It is the part of the rhythm, the law of rhythm, that we are moving up and down. So what we have to understand, are we okay with 10 years of challenges in 1 year in order to experience the 10 years of success in 1 year? When we are okay with both, we can move into that energy and frequency of that higher level of expansion. And then we can collapse time easily and effortlessly. And these are the type of work that I do with my clients. So if this sounds like you are okay with, that's how you stay in expansion. That I'm comfortable with 10 years of challenges in 1 year. I'm comfortable with that. I'm open for that. And when you're open for that, then you would see the challenges, but you will also see the quantum growth. That's the trade-off we do. And that's why most people don't talk about the challenging part. They talk about only the good part, but we must become comfortable with both in order to experience the highest level of success. So if you want to really recalibrate to higher energy and frequency, where you are moving with faith and expansion, where your nervous system is recalibrating to the higher level of success whilst holding the vision, whilst being fully supported. And that's why support is required, so that every time you experience a dip, you're not alone, you are fully supported, and you're moving through that foundation of support. And that's why it is important. So if you're ready for that level of success and ready to release anything that is in the way so that you move with faith, we move with support, move with higher level of belief, then you can click the link below to apply for my mentoring and also register for quantum expansion that is happening on 22nd of May. With that, like this video if you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and may the light in me reaches the light in you.